Hello and welcome to This is MediaCity. I'm Stephen Chapman and today we're talking to Mark Watts, who's a sales leader for Channel 4 Nations and Regions. We'll be talking all about television advertising. So, Mark, thank you ever so much for coming over to MediaCity. It's not that far a journey for you because you've been based in Manchester for most of your career, haven't you?
Pretty much most of my career. Yeah, so I moved over here actually to come to university, and I grew up over in Yorkshire. Came to university in Manchester, and I was one of those people that loved the city so much. When I came over, I ended up staying, getting a job, and my family's roots are down here, and never looked back really.
Right. Well, this is a perfect time to try and find a bit more about you. Now, we start every podcast with these icebreakers. I know you've been looking forward to this bit.
Can't wait for this.
The one bit you can't prepare for.
I know, exactly.
Pick a card, any card.
Right.
Always gone for the end one.
Favourite show not on your channel? Wow.
Yeah, so
okay.
favourite non-Channel 4 show. Because you can't have favourites on your own channel, can you?
There might be one or two of those as well. But favourite show not on our channel? I mean, God, this sounds like a bit of a cliche, but we, as a family at home, we love The Traitors at the moment. We've loved the celebrity version. We love the one that's just been on. It's fantastic. Like it's one of the. We always try and have as a family like something we all sit down and watch once a week, and or however many times it's on a week, and enjoy. And that is, that really is the one for us. Traitors.
It's got that full generational crossover,
fantastic.
hasn't it? Right, one more.
Right, let's go for the middle this time.
Right, okay.
What is your drink order?
So you kind of given us a hint this morning, but I heard, and we'll come onto this in a minute.
Yeah.
You've got a brand new building, and I've been told your coffee machine is something out of this world.
Yes. We have got a new building. The coffee machine is becoming famous around Manchester for producing some of the best coffee in town.
So are you a coffee drinker though? Because I noticed you got tea.
Yeah, do you know, I'm more of a tea drinker actually, and it has to be Yorkshire tea. I was just telling the guys here that Yorkshire tea is my drink of choice. So in terms of my drink order, it will always be a nice, strong Yorkshire tea.
And for the record, there is Yorkshire tea outside of our studio right now. So you probably have got Yorkshire tea out there. So win-win. Now, let's talk about your job, because we've talked to lots of producers and on this couch over the last year. But as Channel 4 Nations and Regions sales leader, you fit a different part of that. You kind of help us make these shows happen, don't you? Tell us a bit about what your role is.
Yeah, I mean, my role, my team's role, I run the sales team that sits outside of London. So we're all based pretty much in Manchester, and we service all the agencies, the media agencies, and also the advertisers that sit outside of the M25. And when we talk about the media agencies, they're the companies that plan and buy the media campaigns, whether that be TV or whether it be out of home or radio or online, for the advertisers. So my role is to service and to sell to those to that sort of group really. And the reason why that group's really important to us is because Channel 4 exists because it's a non-for-profit organisation. So from the moment we started, a really high percentage of our revenues go straight back into making the actual programme. So that's around 70 pence in every pound.
And that money that comes in is predominantly ad revenue, isn't it?
I mean, it is predominantly ad revenue. That's why the relationship between ourselves and the advertisers and the media agencies is so important for the existence and the progression of Channel 4.
And the sales team in Manchester is kind of big, isn't it? It's not just like some little unit outside of London, and it's been here for some time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Well, we'll go back. I've been at Channel 4 about 12 or 13 years now. If we go back to when I first started, there was probably, I think there was 7, maybe 8 people that sat outside of London working for Channel 4 from a sales team point of view. That's not many people at all. Now, if we fast forward to today, we've got over 500 roles that sit outside of London. So that's if you think
how many of them are in Manchester?
How many of them are in Manchester? We've got.
Sorry, I said I wasn't going to ask you any statistics.
No, that's fine. So we've got probably about 70 people that sit in Manchester at the moment. The new office, which we might come on to at some point during this, we've got room for 110 roles up here. So there's still a little bit of growth space for us there, which is quite exciting actually.
And the reason you've got so many people, is that because the importance of this region I mean, you cover outside of London, so that's Scotland as well, Northern Ireland?
Yeah, so my going back to my role, myself and my team cover all the advertisers and agencies that sit out the M25. So there's a lot of travelling involved. There's a lot of on trains up to Scotland and down to Bristol and the southwest, and over the other side of the Pennines as well, over into Yorkshire and up into Newcastle. So yeah, there's we cover everything outside of that M25, which gives us. Channel 4 is quite unique in the way that we have a remit that sits behind absolutely everything we do, and part of that remit is representing the whole of the UK. If you do go back to what I was saying before, about 12 or 13 years ago, when we only had 7 or 8 people that sat outside of London, that's not really representative of the whole UK. So we've come a hell of a long way over that time to make sure the opportunities we create for people and our workforce sit right across the UK, whether it be up in our Glasgow office, in Leeds, in our national HQ in Manchester, or down in Bristol or London. We've got a much larger footprint across the UK now.
And I suppose arguably, I mean, we as producers, we hark on about getting productions outside of London being representative. But I suppose, given what you're saying there, that also that applies to agency and sales. So if you're an agency based in Leeds or Manchester, if you were based in London, it's more difficult for them to sell in and kind of talk to you, I suppose. Is that true?
Yeah, I think there is an element of that. I think a lot of what we do is based on the relationships we have with the agencies and with the advertisers. And if I want to go and see, I'm going over to Leeds this afternoon to go and see one of our advertising partners, one of our clients, and that's a 45-minute train journey for me. It's that's quite a standard commute time, and having a load of our clients, a high percentage of our clients that are within sort of an hour's travel from Manchester, really does make a difference. Makes it easier for us all to build relationships and really sell in the power of why TV, is right for the brands that we deal with.
Before we get on to the reason why TV is right for brands, because I know we want to talk about that, talk to me about Manchester, because you've got this new office, strangely not here. Just an oversight, MediaCity's got some space, but that shows further investment in the north of England from Channel 4, because your headquarters in Leeds now. Yeah. You've got Manchester here, so it's quite an interesting time to have your role, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean it's great. I mean it's a privilege to lead that sales team that's based in Manchester for me on a personal level. But yeah, the MediaCity thing, going back a few years when we made quite a big jump about 10 years ago. We moved into an office on King Street, and we were exploring MediaCity at that point to see, because it's a real buzz about it. Like this morning when I came to MediaCity, it's a really nice area. We love it, and there's loads of creative work going on in this space. What we found around 10 years ago when we first moved into a slightly bigger office was that a lot of our partners that we work with, whether they be media agencies from a network point of view or an independent media agency, or whether they're advertisers, most of them that are based in Manchester are within the city centre. And if they're not, they're over in Leeds or Newcastle.
Yeah, because you've got like WPP and Dents and stuff right in the city centre.
So the reason why we're based in the city centre is mainly because a lot of our partners are within a 5 or 10 minute walk from where we are. So yeah, that's the reason why we sort of stayed in the city centre.
We'll let you off.
Thank you. I felt like I had to justify that.
I wasn't even trying to put you on the spot, but I'm glad you did anyway.
But yeah, the new office in Manchester's it's incredible. It's really an amazing space for our some of our agencies and advertisers to come and to come and use whenever they need it as well. But yeah, it's real privilege to work there at the moment.
And has it made a difference having this kind of this M6? We honestly gone about the M62 corridor, but Channel 4's actually doing it, aren't you? You're kind of getting there.
Yeah.
Obviously with Hollyoaks at one end of the M62 as well. Manchester, Leeds. Has it made a difference for you? Having Leeds, having the move up from London.
Massively. I mean, we've talked before about the representation of the whole of the UK. You see it when you go over into the Leeds office and up into Glasgow and down to Bristol. We've got an amazing bunch of people, and it's a real special moment to be working at Channel 4 in the way that we aren't just a London organisation now. We are spread right across the UK. I think where we are in the Manchester hub, we feel very lucky that we've moved into a very nice office that we can use with our partners.
And you yourself, you came in from Yorkshire University, loved it, MediaCom North.
Yeah.
And then Channel 4 Manchester. Yeah. Have you ever been tempted by the bright lights of London, or is that just never kind of crossed? Because I imagine it's a different way of working, in a way.
It's a funny one, really. I think I grew up in quite a small market town in Yorkshire, and the thought of working in a creative industry alone felt way, way out of reach. And to work in TV felt like, it would have been, just unheard of, really. Because you had to move to London to do anything in media or in TV. And I think sort of as the years have gone by, and partly due to what we've done at Channel 4, partly down to what the BBC have done, moving people out of London, and ITV have got a big office here as well. It's made everything a lot more accessible for everyone to get into this this type of industry. I sort of worked. I worked for MediaCom North for a number of years, as well as another media agency in Manchester, and I never looked back. It's an amazing city.
Right, let's get down to the nitty gritty of your role and your job and TV advertising as a whole.
Yeah.
Lots of headlines over the last however many years about TV advertising. Because of the rise, I argue about the rise in digital. And tell me about where we're at. Is TV advertising in a good space at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you read the headlines and you believe the
sometimes I've written them.
You maybe have. You read the headlines and you see headlines such as TV is dying and audience are migrating elsewhere. The truth is, TV is absolutely flying at the moment. So you've got audiences fragmenting, so they're watching TV in different ways, and they're watching it in different spaces, and whether that be on our streaming platform, on Channel 4 streaming,
which is going great guns. We should mention.
Yeah, it's going great guns. We had our biggest ever streaming day last year. Actually, I think it was it was in October, 7th of October, I think it was, with 7.7 million views. So it's huge. It's absolutely huge. but yeah, audiences are watching TV in a different way, but that doesn't mean that they're not watching it. So we do a lot of work with advertisers around where best to spend their money. And there is now a blend of, you need to put some of your advertising budgets on Channel 4 streaming as well as Channel 4 linear, and probably a little bit on Channel 4 YouTube as well, to really get that sort of rounded, highest reach that you possibly can for an audience. So yeah, it's different to what it was 10 years ago, but the future looks really exciting.
And in terms of that, one of the things that people say, because of with say the analytics that you have with Meta and everything else, that you can be really, really specialised and kind of hone in and look at what impact your advertising has had and the click-through rates following them seeing it. How does television compete with that, or is it already doing so?
TV does something very different to a lot of the sort of social media platforms. TV delivers fame, it builds a brand, it gives trust and truth to a brand. If you're a viewer watching TV, the emotion and the impact that TV gives is just different to anything that social media can give to a brand. Social media has its place, and some of the digital platforms all have their place in a media mix, but they don't do what TV does. TV will make your brand famous. First time, I don't know whether you've sort of come across this before. First time a brand goes on TV, it's transformative for them. It will change the way they're perceived, so that their consideration in the market with their customers. It will change their search will go through the roof. Their sales will go through the roof. It can really, take a brand from one level right up to the next.
We had Jason Spencer from ITV, who does a relatively similar role over there. He was talking. He also mentioned the trust word. Mm-hmm. How key is that? That I suppose when you take an advert out on Channel 4, ITV5, you know where your advert is going and what it's being placed alongside. Is that a key selling point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talk to advertisers. My team talk to advertisers a lot about the truth and the trust that comes along with TV. TV in the UK is heavily regulated. You know that the content, especially on Channel 4, the content that, if you're a brand, the content that you put your ad up against is going to be the highest standard. And it's an environment where the audience is watching it and trusts what they're seeing. So if your ad then sits if you're a brand and your ad sits within the ad break, that truth and trust from the programme bleeds right into the ad breaks, and that's why it is so powerful. And I think the other thing with TV that one of the reasons why it is so powerful for advertisers is that it's generally a 30-second ad. There's no interruptions, or a 20-second ad, or a 10-second, or even more. But there's no interruptions. There's no it's real humans watching it. It's real humans taking it in. It's real humans then acting upon it, going online, looking for the brand online, or going into a shop and buying whatever they've seen. And that is what makes TV very, very different to anything else out there.
There are very few Russian bots watching Channel 4.
Very few, zero, I would say.
What impact, because this has just dawned on me, because my daughter's just told us she doesn't really like the adverts and has paid for the skippable version, which will make some of your company very happy that we're subscribed that way. Does that, is that kind of a plus and negative from your side? Because obviously that's a whole load of people who might not be watching adverts at all on your channel, or do you have to look at different ways of doing?
Yeah, I mean, look, advertising revenue is the number one source of income for Channel 4. If we didn't have that advertising revenue coming in, then we wouldn't be able to put that money back in to make the programmes that we all enjoy every evening or on Channel 4 streaming. So the ad revenue is really, really important. But we do have to look at how we diversify our revenue streams. And the subscription model is, a very, very well-established model that sits with a lot of the streamers out there in sort of various forms. It is something that we've sort of been looking at as well, and we've had quite a lot of success in there where people are paying for the subscription-free Channel 4 streaming sort of approach. So, but no, ad revenue is the number one importance for us in terms of generating that revenue to put straight back into making the programme.
We talked a bit about the brands and the impact it can have on brands. Yeah. I think still there's there may not be that perception, but there's I would say there's a perception that if you are MasterCard or Visa or something like that, you go for TV advertising. However, if you're a smaller brand, whoa, I can't afford that. Is that still the case, or are you more open to? Is it more accessible to SMEs, and is there a point for an SME advertising on Channel 4?
I think. I mean, this isn't a new that question you've asked there is a question we've.
It's gone back for the ages, hasn't it? That one, I imagine.
It kind of has, and I would say, having worked in the sort of TV planning and media industry for a long time now, it's never been easier to go on. If you're an SME or a startup business, there's never been a better time to try and get on TV. And the reason for that is that it's more accessible than ever. Now, there's a few ways in which you can do it. So a lot of advertisers think we can't afford that. Like it's going to cost us millions of pounds.
Because you've got to buy the space, you've got to make the advert as
well.
And
buy the space, you've got to, you think, if you're sat watching Gogglebox on a Friday night, you think, well, that's going to cost us millions of pounds. We can't do that. At Channel 4, we've set up a number of schemes to try and make that access a little bit more, a little bit easier actually for some of those small businesses. So, whether that might be like our greenhouse product, which is a place where brands can grow, where if they're coming on TV for the first time or want to, then we'll help fund it by, there might be some fund matching that we do. We might help them make their first ad. We've just launched actually something called Smart Ad Engine, which is our AI generated TV ad tool. So if you wanted to make a TV ad today, we can make a TV ad for your brand for This Is MediaCity. And,
well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, we should do. And that wasn't there a couple of years ago. So the creative side of it, we still work with a lot of creative agencies, but if you've got we pick up an advertiser that wants to make something very quickly and get it on Channel 4 streaming, we can make that happen very, very quickly at relatively low cost.
So when you're saying AI, you're talking from the actual construction, so the Gen AI of it as well?
Yeah, the Gen AI, yeah. I think ITV have got something similar, and Sky. It seems to be, when we're chatting to businesses that think there's barriers to get on TV, that seems to be one of the biggest ones where they think, well, the creative's going to cost a lot of money. But with Gen AI coming through, it sort of opens the doors for, for other options. And I should say that when those ads come through and are made, they're fully Clearcast approved. They have to hit that standard that UK TV, demands from.
And that's in terms of scripting, quality control, all the rest of it. Yeah.
The other thing I'd add to that as well is, my team that are based in Manchester, and there's a team in London as well that do the same. We are experts in bringing small new to TV advertisers on with us for the first time, and we take bookings from advertisers and help with TV plans for advertisers that might spend £5,000, £6,000, £7,000 a month on their first TV campaign, just to dip the toe in the water to see, what reaction they get and what performance they get off the back of it. And there has to be that is as low as a starting point can go. And then some of these advertisers, we've seen them grow into sort of spending hundreds of thousands of pounds across the year, even millions of pounds in a year, because they've seen that early benefit of what television advertising can do for their brand, and really shift, all those softer and harder metrics that they probably thought was out of reach before they did TV.
Can you break down in terms of with ITV you can go to Yorkshire, Granada and so on. With Channel 4, is it all national, or can you break that down as well?
No.
I'm just trying to think of like a regional brand or an SME that they're not necessarily hitting national straight away. So are they thinking, well, what's the point?
No. So we on our linear. I mean, linear is absolutely flying at the moment as well. So
that's traditional TV,
linear TV, absolutely flying at the moment, and the audiences are really engaging with some of those big shows that we've got on, like Gogglebox and Patience, which was a drama we launched back in January. So
shot in New York, wasn't it?
It was shot in New York. Yeah. Good knowledge. But so we split up into a handful of regions across the UK if you want to target on traditional linear TV. But I think where for new advertisers wanting to start on a sort of smaller geographical scale, we on our streaming platform, Channel 4 streaming, we go right down to postcode level. So the options are there to be as targeted as you want them to be. And then obviously you can layer on top of that different levels of audience targeting as well. So whilst TV can be a big, broad, way to reach audiences, you can also sort of go down to the more granular levels of geographical and audience targeting as well.
You mentioned Gen AI as one of the innovations that you're using there. What other things are you doing to try and kind of bring this together? Because you, as commercial broadcasters yourself, Sky, ITV, you're all fighting for the same buck, arguably. Are you able to? I think you mentioned that you were doing something together with them as well.
Yeah. So I mean, we've I think over the last few years we have worked closer together with ITV and Sky, mainly with through Thinkbox, who are the sort of industry body for for TV advertising. So we are doing more and more work together, really to compete with some of those streamers and some of the social media platforms that are there. We are stronger when we sort of work as a unit there. And I think one of the things that particularly excites me is something called Universal Ads that is currently in testing phase at the moment. But it's a self-serve platform for SMEs and smaller advertisers to come on TV for the first time. So that really will make it easier. It'll break down all the barriers, hopefully, for brands to get on TV. For that.
So what's a self-serve advertising platform?
Well, if you're an advertiser and you want to get on TV, we talked about it. There might be some barriers from a cost point of view. There's also barriers from an expertise point of view. It can be quite a complex. Because
if you're an advertiser, you usually go to a content person or a content team or an agency.
You go to a media agency, I think, to plan.
And that you plan the thing, then you've got to make the thing.
Yeah.
The thing has to get all cleared by Clearcast, and then it goes back a few times until it does get cleared, and then finally you've got an ad, and then it has to be sent to the right people to play out.
Yeah. So the idea with Universal Ads is that it will cut out a big chunk of that. And if you're an advertiser that wants to go on TV for the first time on our streaming platforms, you'll be able to do it from the comfort of your own desk, and that is that's a real game changer. And there'll obviously be a lot of like hand holding that goes along with that for advertisers, but it will be the first time that as an advertiser you can go across all of the sort of main broadcasters simultaneously with one with one booking essentially.
So is that aimed at brands and SMEs, or is that aimed at agencies, or is it taking the agency a little bit out the middle?
A lot of the brands that we're targeting with this won't necessarily have a media
because
agency.
They won't be able to afford them.
They'll be of a smaller scale. So they probably don't have media agencies. Media agencies won't be restricted from using it, but the real core target there is those SMEs, those advertisers, those brands that are ready for TV, but maybe think there's too many barriers there for them. Does
that involve creating the advert as well, or the platform, or is that just the booking bit?
It's the booking bit, but there's obviously we talked about smart ad engine and and a lot of advertisers, even at that SME level, will be working with creative agencies to make various forms of other video for them, or any other sort of media routes that they might use. I think one thing I was going to say, because there's a bit of thinking around why Universal Ads and why us at Channel 4 really sort of wanted to grow that advertiser base. Firstly, because we know, as I said before, what TV can do for a brand when it first goes on. It is transformative. It will, it'll blow everything else out of the water. I know that. I've seen it so many times for advertisers. But there's about 3 million advertisers in the UK at the moment, and only about 7,000 of them use TV. If you sort of think about that sort of scale there, I find that I think all of us at Channel 4 find that quite unbelievable. And then you delve in to Channel 4 specifically, it's about 1,400 of those advertisers use Channel 4. There's so much to go out there. There's so many advertisers that I think if we get them onto TV and get them to dip the toe in, what it will do for their brand will be, it'll be unbelievably positive. So we're hoping that Universal Ads will open the door for some of those advertisers aren't using TV at the moment to really sort of dive in there.
So presumably that's almost an educational piece. It's those headlines have been making that maybe I've written or others talking about TV and how everything is moving digital. That educational piece about what television can do for you that maybe isn't getting through to some of the maybe younger upcoming brands.
Yeah, I mean, there's new businesses are launching in the UK every day, aren't they? And we're growing up, or the young people today are growing up in a much more digital world than certainly people in my generation were. So there does have to be a little bit more education around why TV powers brands, the power of TV, the scale, the truth and the trust, everything I've talked about today about why television is the thing that will take your brand to the next level. There does need to be, as much education as possible in that area. We do a lot of work with ThinkBox across the UK to make sure that advertisers and businesses are aware of what it can do for the brand.
Is there a danger when you're getting lots of SMEs thinking, oh my goodness, this is amazing, we'll do this, and your Gen AI thing is going great guns as well? Is there a danger that the quality of, and it sounds an odd thing to ask, but the quality of the adverts goes down? Because I'm from a generation when there were some amazing adverts, and you turn on and go, yeah, just waiting for the program to finish to watch the next whatever ad from so-and-so. Because some of the ads are awesome, some of the quality behind them. Yeah. So you almost want to keep the quality so high that other brands, I want to do something like that. I mean, Aldi and Kevin the Carrot and things like that. They could only happen really with that. Tune in during Hollyoaks and see the premiere of it, that kind of vibe about it. Is there a danger that if it's too accessible, the quality dips?
I I mean, TV, I talked before about the high standard, the quality of what viewers see on screen. We don't want that. That won't change. We're heavily regulated across the UK. So that high standard, we don't believe is going to drop, because we won't let it drop. But, you know, we so many, how can I phrase this without,
I suppose there's different levels of advertising, isn't there, during the day, and peaks and off-peak?
There is, but you watch, if you go online and whether you're watching YouTube or whether you're watching, you know, whether you're on a social media platform, the quality of the ads just is not, it's not where myself as a viewer would want them to be. We are a much higher standard than anything you see there, and we will maintain that level. I don't see that dropping at all.
Fair enough. So what is the future then? Because we talked about the innovation you've got with the cross platforms and the Gen AI. How do you see the evolution of your role over the next few years or so?
I think it comes back to, we've talked a lot about this throughout the podcast, but my role is going to become more, I think it will become more advertiser focused. We've got to, as a business, get closer to the advertisers. And, you know, part of our sales strategy at the moment is to become much more advertiser led, still aligned with our media agencies, the networks and the independents, but to be much more focused on our advertisers. Advertisers use us, well, they come to us when they've got a business problem that needs solving. And we, you know, we've got a range of products across our Channel 4 sales portfolio that can answer many of those business problems, all of those business problems in its different forms. And I think over the next few years, really getting to understand the advertisers, what their business challenges are, and how we can help them sort of grow their businesses over the next few years will be a big part of my role and my team's role as well. And
if you are an SME watching this, or a larger company that hasn't advertised on Channel 4 yet, of course, what's the message you'd put across to them today?
Get in touch. Like, we've got
you're only down the road.
We're only down the road. We've got an amazing team of people who specialise in getting advertisers on TV for the first time. Come and speak to us, and we'll help guide you onto TV for the first time, and you can see how transformative it can be for your brand. Thank you ever so much for coming on the podcast. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you for watching. This is MediaCity, which is a 39 Pictures production on behalf of MediaCity and in partnership with the University of Salford. And all the team behind the scenes are graduates and undergraduates of the University of Salford and the University of Manchester. So please remember to like, subscribe, share and comment, and we'll see you next week. The production team are Meg Bond, Tegan Easton, James Young, Amelia Husselby, Marnie Holdsworth Green and Rose Lonsdale.